Hi guys, I welcome you to the YouTube channel, Romano Giuseppe, Electronic and CNC Lab. We begin to see the necessary material, 2 voltage stabilizers, resistors, capacitors, printed circuit connectors, a trimmer, 2 heat sinks and finally a single-sided copper plate, not pre-sensitized. In today's video, we will see together how to make a simple electronic circuit, which will allow you, starting from a voltage of 19 volts, to obtain 2 stabilized voltages, one of 12 volts and the other adjustable from 2 volts to 17 volts. The first software that I will show you is very popular in the field of amateur electronic design, also because it is a very simple and intuitive program. First we take the necessary components from the library by arranging them in the work area already in their final position. Then we label all the components with an abbreviation R for the resistors, C for the capacitors, IC for the integrated trim for the trimmers and finally CON for connectors. This step is very important because when the circuit starts to get complicated, it becomes easier to follow the wiring diagram. Now with the wiring diagram at a glance, we begin to trace all the signals first with signal and then with root. We position all the tracks on the bottom layer, except those corresponding to the ground, this because all those tracks together with the perimeter will be labeled with the same name. To make the ground plane, The part that comes now is a lot of stuff, because it is the most interesting part. In fact, we move from theory to practice. The toy you see is a low-end CNC milling machine, therefore cheap and obviously upgraded, at the software level, firmware and finally at the hardware level. To the point of making it much more interesting, but I don't want to tell you everything now. For this topic I will soon make some dedicated videos. Let's now move on to the assembly of all the components, removing any traces of oxide from the rear force of the components and paying attention to the components that have polarity, such as voltage stabilizers and electrolytic capacitors. On the voltage stabilizers, to avoid overheating, I mounted some heat sinks, putting some thermal paste to improve the heat transmission. When assembly is complete, all that remains is to connect the circuit input to a power supply, with the voltage regulated at 19 volts and the two outputs to two multimeters, used as voltmeters. Then you can proceed with the calibration of the LM317 stabilizer. The integrated positioned at the bottom, bringing the output to the value of 17 volts. Well guys, at this point, we're done. Keep following my channel, I still have a lot of videos to post. Hello and see you soon.